tonight we are. I mean, this is, how do I put it? We on automatic in terms of, the rifling, the weaponry we're using tonight. We're just going all out, and what we're going to do is cover and debunk a number of different myths about Black men. And I wanted to get BGS up in here with me to do it because it's a lot more fun, for one, to bounce off of your brother when we're talking about it. But there's a lot of info to cover. So I wanted to kind of get that in. So let me start.
Yep.
But let me
Yep. Well, we have the advantage of being male. Okay. This is the Black patriarchy in action, right?
Okay. Yes. God damn. You want to see? You want to see what patriarchal privilege gives us?
Okay.
This is a breakdown of school suspensions.
Okay.
Now the reason I bring this up is because I've had several debates over the years, right, where I've had people disingenuously make the argument that Black girls have it worse in school and they get kicked out more than anybody. And really, when you delve into it, what you find is they get kicked out more than white girls.
Right.
That's the issue. They get kicked out more than white girls. What tends to happen, and this is data from the Office of Civil Rights. This is 2012. But what tends to happen is you have feminists that will kind of eliminate the boys because they argue the boys get too much attention. Black boys and Black men. They get too much attention. We got to focus on girls. So the way they do that, and this especially goes to Kimberly Crenshaw and the African American Policy Forum, they'll put data on the screen and say girls get kicked out. They get suspended more than anybody. And really, what they're saying is they get suspended more than white girls.
Right.
You just won't mention Black boys. But I want you guys to look at the data so you can actually make sense of it when you hear these kinds of dismissive statements that don't include Black boys. Next time you hear something about K through 12 suspensions, expulsions, any of that, and you don't hear Black boys being mentioned, something's wrong. So, Black girls do get disciplined far more than white girls. Black boys almost double everybody.
Yep.
And there's data to show us that based on how the teachers behave, every kid can be acting out, but it's the boys that get singled out more than anybody. Even when they're not acting out. As a matter of fact, they're viewed to be older than they actually are, as young as 4 years old. They're treated like they are older, even when they're 4. I remember I even had and I don't mind anecdotes from time to time, but notice I'm giving you an anecdote with the data on the screen. I'm not saying we shouldn't use anecdotes, but we should always contrast it with what's measurable. But I remember I had my son in daycare when he was real little, and apparently, and he was 2. He got into a fight with a little girl that stole his toy. And this was a Black woman running this facility out of her house. So I came to pick him up after school, and she pulled me aside. She said, "Look, your son can't come here anymore."
Wow. Okay.
And I said, "Okay, well, what happened?" He hit this little girl. That's all she said. He hit this little girl. I said, "Well, what's going on?" She said, "Well, they were playing with a toy. And he hit her." Okay. So it took me a while to get out of her. The little girl walked up and tried to take the toy he was playing with.
Okay.
And he hit her. And she said, but this little girl, she's only 2 years old. And I looked her in the eyes and I said, so is he. Now, my son has always been 99th percentile for height and weight, but he was still 2 years old. They were the same age.
Yeah.
But she didn't see a 2-year-old little boy, having a fight with a 2-year-old girl that took his toys. She saw a grown boy who beat up on an innocent little girl.
Yeah, a baby.
That was her vantage.
Yeah. Beat up on the baby. Yeah.
Beat up on a baby girl and kicked him out at 2 years old.
Wow.
From a daycare facility. Right? These are the kind of narratives we're working with. Yeah, Clutch and Stick said he was 5 in her mind. Right. Yeah, you might as well put a mask on him and have fun. Like he just, came out of a gang.
He might have had a beard. Might have had a beard on.
Yeah, they both 2. He's 2 as well. And she just completely, and the funny part is when I said, it's not funny really, when I said he is too as well, her face didn't blink. It didn't change. She looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Like, what is anything you're saying relevant? Is anything you're saying even relevant? I mean, it wasn't even a question. She was basically saying none of what you're saying is relevant. And because she was in protection mode for this little girl who was accosted by the big bad boy.
Yeah, big bad black boy.
Right.
With a lethal weapon.
With a lethal weapon. Right. His hand. And when you looked at it, wasn't none, she didn't even have a mark on her. They were two. It ain't like he could form a punch when put his hip into it. It was, you know, she didn't have a mark on it. As a matter of fact, they were playing when I walked in with each other. Anyway, Uru said we should use this data to create an overall quality, I think he meant quality of life measurement, and allocate these measurements based on race and sex. Then use the results to push back against feminism and intersectionality.
Then we have to go back to Moynihan, where it said the black boys are actually the most victimized in this country.
Which seems to be reinforced by Raj Chetty and Richard Reeves. And you know, if you don't want to believe me, you don't want to believe Tommy Curry, you don't want to believe any of the other black male studies scholars, you got white and other scholars that are well renowned and regarded who are saying the same exact things.
And I think do believe Chetty's study was like a 10-year study. Yeah. It wasn't overnight, and he drew from all kind of data from the IRS, Social Security system, everybody, you know,
and at least cover white, black, and Asian groups. Now I like Uru's idea. I'm just laying out all of the different categories that can be explored. And again, this is not placed in any order. I'm putting it this way. The categories I'm covering tonight, I literally just cobbled together as they came into my head. So they're not in any particular order, but we're just going issue to issue, and we're debunking stereotypes about black men. This one is dealing with, or black men and boys. This one is dealing with suspensions. Let's see what's next. I don't even know what's next.